Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time watching, then welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do this silver and grey halo eye look using the Jeffree Star Cremated palette. Before you guys say anything, yes, I did do a look very similar to this a wee while ago, a few weeks ago, so my apologies. I didn't actually realise it was going to come out this similar until I did it. But I still love the way it looks, and I guess it is helpful for like people who have this palette and they want to get this look, then you know exactly what shades I used and all of that. I must admit that I am feeling a little bit uninspired doing these cremated palette looks. Like, well, I was inspired to begin with, but now that's kind of eased off because I just feel like there's only so much you can do with a grey, black and silver palette. And when I ordered the palette, I was expecting some of the shades to be brown. There's quite a few like brown looking shades and like a gold shimmery shade, but every time I put them on the eye or on the face, they come out grey or silver or white. Yeah, I kept doing looks thinking that they're going to come out a certain way, and then when I apply it, it's a completely different colour and it doesn't turn out at all how I was expecting. So yeah, I'm just feeling a little bit like, I want to say over the cremated palette, but I'm not over it. I just think I need to switch it up a little bit and take a little break from it, you know, making videos with this palette. So this will probably be my last one for about a week or so, but I will definitely do some more. I just need to kind of have a think about it and, you know, get my creative juices flowing. So if you are subscribed to me because of my cremated palette videos, then never fear, I will return with some more, but just expect a few colourful looks before that happens, because that's like my favourite thing to do, is use a lot of colour. So, but enough rambling on. I tend to just like go on and on and on about the same stuff over and over again, so yeah, I'm sorry about that, but let's just get on to the tutorial, shall we? So if you would like to see how I created this grey and silver halo eye using the cremated palette, then keep on watching. Okay, so eyebrows, white eyeshadow base, and I mentioned this in my last video, but I will mention it again just in case this is your first time watching my channel. I'm using a white eyeshadow base because it's all that I have. So you can use whatever base that you would like to use, but I'm just using white because, yeah, it's what I have. And using a nude colored base isn't going to change the way this look looks. Yeah, so just sort of put it out there because I know that sometimes I would watch tutorials and if I didn't have the exact same thing, I would kind of freak out a little bit and think that I couldn't do it, but yeah. Also, I've just applied the base into the crease and blended that out. I'm not worrying about what I've got on the eyelid at the moment because we're not focusing on that just yet. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm taking my Jeffree Star Cremated palette and I'm going to go in with this shade here called Gravedigger. And I'm applying that with a small blending brush, and just for comparison's sake, this is it next to a regular size blending brush, so it's just going to be a lot more defined than if I was to use a full-sized blending brush. And I'm using this to pack that Gravedigger shade into the crease. So I'm using small circular motions to really buff that colour in and get it really packed on. And using these circular motions is also going to help keep the edges blended so that it will be easier for us to blend out once we move on to the next steps. Okay, so that is the base for the crease down, and now just to add in a slightly lighter shade to give a bit more dimension and to assist with the blend, I'm going to go in with this shade here called Solemnly and a domed crease brush. And I'm just going to apply this in a similar way to how I just applied the darker shade Gravedigger. So I'm using this to blend out the edges of what I've just applied. So applying in small circular motions and just making sure that I have the brush half on the darkest shade and half slightly above that on the blank skin. And that's going to help us get those two colors really blended together. And we are going to go in with a third shade after this, so we're mainly focusing on the blend between the two colors on the eye at this stage, and we'll worry about the rest of that after, once we get there. Okay, so now the last thing that we need to do for the crease is to fully kind of blend that all out. You know, just get the blend perfect. We've got the main colors on the eye now. So I'm going to take a fluffy highlighting brush and I'm going to go in with this shade here called Life Insurance. And like I was doing before, pretty much the same thing, just small circular motions around the perimeter of the eyeshadow that we've got on the eye, and using that shade to blend out the edges and just make sure it's a nice smooth like gradient from dark grey to basically nothing. And yeah, just doing this all the way across the crease, and once we've got the blend looking how we want it, then we can start going back in with the other shades and just building up those colors and blending those out even more, just until we're completely 100% happy with the way the blend is looking. Just making sure that there's no harsh lines between the colors. Okay, so that is the crease looking nice and blended, and now we're going to prepare to cut the crease. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking some Vaseline and a flat rounded concealer brush, and I'm using the Vaseline to remove the product off of the eyelid. And so what this is going to do is it's going to just loosen up everything that we've got on the eye, and then we can remove it using a cotton tip. So I'm applying this Vaseline in the way that I would apply the base if I was cutting out the crease, but just with Vaseline instead. And this is also good because it will help give us our, you know, guidelines for where we're going to put the base once we're done. But we just need to make sure that we're getting all of the product off of the eyelid and not leaving any Vaseline on there, because that can affect the base application and we don't want that. Okay, so now we are prepped to do the cut crease. So I'm going to be taking my white base, which is the P.Louise base in the shade Rumour 0, and I'm applying that using a flat rounded concealer brush and just doing like a full cut crease. So all the way across the eye how I've, you know, prepped it, and just applying this in patting motions, because that's going to prevent the eyeshadow from mixing with the base and making it, you know, a color that we don't want it to be. And it's also going to help keep the edges nice and rounded, because you're basically just letting the brush do the work for you. It's got a rounded edge and we are after a rounded cut crease. So that is how I always do my cut creases. I think it's the best way to do it. You always should be applying it using patting motions instead of swiping motions. Okay, so we've got the crease carved out, and I am going to be doing a halo eye. So the reason that I carve out the entire crease when doing a halo eye is because, for starters, I think you're able to blend the colors in together a lot easier, and I also think that it helps to get this middle part of the halo eye where we apply the lighter shade to have that the right curve that we need, because I used to not do the entire eye and I'd do a halo eye and then I would realize that it comes up on an angle and it doesn't actually look nice and rounded how we want it to look. So that's why I do it like this. So now we're going to pop some eyeshadow onto the eyelid. So I'm first going to start off by using Gravedigger, the darkest crease shade, and I'm applying this to the inner and the outer corners of the eye. I'm doing that using the same brush that I used for the crease, and just packing this on to get it nice and, you know, dark how we want it to look, and not bringing it too far in either, because we do want to blend some more shades into that, and we need to leave a decent enough room in the center of the eye to do the actual halo effect. So once I've done that, I'm going to go in with Solemnly Swear, the second shade that we used in the crease, and that same brush and use that to blend Gravedigger in towards the center of the eye. But like I was saying before, leaving a big enough gap in the center of the eye to apply a highlight shade. So once I've done that, then I'm going to add in the highlight shade, and I'm going to be using this shade here called Goodbye and applying that with an all over shader brush and just making sure that we bring this right up to the edge of where we've carved out the crease. So we want that to be nice and sharp, but we also don't want there to be any of the white base showing through. So just applying that in patting motions to get that packed on, and then we can begin to blend that out onto either side of the eye into the Solemnly Swear shade. And if we do this right, it should look like a nice rounded eyeball effect. Okay, so that is the top of the eye pretty much complete, but I do want to add in one more thing. So I want to add just a little bit more shimmer and shine to the center of the eye. So I'm going to go in with this shade here called Diamond Ashes, and I'm going to pop that on a different all over shader brush and just applying this Diamond Ashes shade to the very center of the eye just to add in a bit more shimmer and shine, and it's also just going to help assist with that rounded halo effect that we're after. Okay, and that is the top of the eye complete. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to smoke out the lower lash line. So I'm applying my P.Louise base to the under eye area first, just to have something for the eyeshadow to stick to, because that's going to give us the most pigment and the best blend. Then I'm going to apply the same crease colors, so starting from the darkest shade, so that's Gravedigger, and using the same brush that I was using for the crease and the top of the eye. And yeah, just applying that first. Then I'm going in with Solemnly Swear, the medium shade, and using that to start to blend out the Gravedigger shade. And then I'm going to go in with Life Insurance, the lightest shade, and that same blending brush, and just use that to blend all the colors together and making sure that, you know, it looks similar to how it looks in the crease. Okay, so I'm going to go do my face makeup now, and then I will be back to finish off the rest of the look. Okay, so my face makeup is all done. I just need to add in some highlighter. So I'm going in with the palette, and I'm taking this shade here called Afterlife, and I'm going to be using two different brushes to apply that. So these two ones here, the large fluffy brush for my face and cheekbones, and the small mini eyeshadow brush for around my eyes. So using that mini eyeshadow brush, I'm applying this to my tear duct and my brow bone, and then using the large fluffy brush, I'm applying that to my cheekbones, the tip of my nose, and my cupid's bow. Next I'm going to add in some eyeliner to my waterline. So I'm just going to be using a black eyeliner, and I'm just using my NYX, I don't know, pencil eyeliner in the shade Jet Black, and just applying this to my waterline to kind of tie the look together. On my lips I want to do something quite neutral but still with a little bit of colour, so I'm going to be applying my Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink Lipstick in the shade Dreamer. And yeah, this is just a nice kind of light pink. Okay, now the last thing left to do is just to apply mascara and false eyelashes. So I'm going to be taking my XO Beauty Faux Mink lashes. These are in the style Thunder. I'm going to pop these on off camera, and then I'll be back to show you guys the completed look. Okay, so here we have the completed look with lashes. I'm quite happy with the way this looks. I think the silver and the grey go really nicely together, although I am a little bit disappointed in myself, because I did do a look like this very similar recently, but with black instead of grey. so I feel like it's not that much of a difference, you know. So I'm gonna have to think of some like vastly unique kind of like looks using this palette. But yeah, it can be quite hard with the shade range that we have, so I don't know, I definitely have to have a think about that one. But I'm really happy with the way it looks with this lipstick. I think they go really nicely together. I recently just bought some more lipsticks, a few pink ones, because I think that that's really what I was missing from my collection. And pink goes quite well with a lot of different makeup looks, so I'm happy to finally be branching out and spreading my wings and trying some different lipsticks. I'm not too sure about this formula though, because like it's like quite sticky. Like when I open my mouth, it's not so bad anymore, but when I first applied it, it was like you could feel it like peeling away. That doesn't sound good, because I hear that when you buy like fake lipsticks that it can have that kind of consistency. So I don't know, maybe it's just like a cheap formula, but I just thought I'd get those ones because I didn't know about the formula to begin with, but also they're having a special on at Farmers and I wanted to get 3 lipsticks instead of 1 for the price that I spent. So yeah, it is what it is. As I said last time I used this, I love the highlight shade Afterlife. It's quite strange because when you look at it like in the pan, it looks, I don't know, like yellowy, kind of golden, shimmery. That doesn't make sense. It looks kind of golden and yellowy and shimmery, but when you put it on the face and the eye, it comes out very white, like a shimmery white. So yeah, that's interesting. I think for the next look that I do, I'm gonna have to use colour. I've always been like a colourful makeup type of person, so I'm really missing that. And yeah, I'm feeling a little uninspired from this Cremated palette. It's pretty much all I've used in the last like, I don't know, 3, maybe even like 4 weeks. So I want to take a little break from Cremated palette videos. So I'm sorry if that's why you subscribe to me, but I will have some more coming out. I just need to have a little bit of a play around with some colour so that I can really like get my creativity back, because I feel, yeah, when you're using black and grey and silver, there's only like so much you could do. But yeah, like I still absolutely love this look. I've always loved silver and grey. They've always kind of been some of my favourite colours growing up, like blue, silver, grey, black, white. Those were kind of like my jam. So I do love the silver in that. And if you guys do too and you enjoyed this video, then feel free to thumbs up and subscribe and tick that little bell button so you can get notified every time I post a new video. I hope you guys have a great day and I will see you in the next one.